Hi, this is Texas House Speaker Dennis Bonnen checking in with a very special episode of my video series, A Texas Vision, Life During and After COVID-19. For those of us of the Christian faith, today is Good Friday and an essential part of Easter weekend. I know Easter usually means putting on our Sunday best and gathering together, but this year's different. As much as I'd like to gather for handshakes and hugs and being with each other in the physical, we owe it to each other to remain separate, even as we worship together. So today I have two special guests for a brief conversation about how to congregate and celebrate without endangering one another. I call it gathering apart. Our first guest is from St. Joseph's and St. Stephen's Catholic Church in Houston, Father Victor Perez. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And also from River Pointe Church in Fort Bend County, Pastor Patrick Kelley. Reverend, thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's get right on into it, and I'll begin, Father Victor. What have your churches been doing to allow gathering apart?
I've really been making an effort just to keep in touch with the congregation through live stream. Actually, the Cardinal asked all of the priests to live stream so we could have 10 people present that all help with the live streaming. That could be music or readers. And so basically I'll be live streaming masses or just little prayer moments. So it kind of allows people a window in to a little more prayer than just the Sunday service.
Reverend Patrick, how have y'all been managing?
Well, we're learning like everybody else. I mean, most churches really weren't dependent upon the internet to get their church worship services out. So we're trying to figure out how to connect as well as broadcast. And what we're doing on our live stream and YouTube and Facebook channels is we're trying to educate people on how to get the most out of it, right? I mean, most people aren't aware, kind of used to going down into their living room in their pajamas, eating their waffles, having church, so how do you really focus, give it the attention it deserves, and get the most out of it for your family? So we're educating as we're being educated on how to use this medium.
So Reverend Patrick, in all seriousness, you mentioned going down the family room and having waffles. So what is your advice on that? I mean, I watched Father Victor's Thursday services last night with my 14 and 15-year-old boys and my wife. And on one hand, I found it simpler because it was easier to get those two boys in about 1 minute out of their bedrooms and into the living room, and they were in T-shirts and shorts. And I was too, by the way. So what is your advice on that? Do you and I mean it politely, do you want the waffle there or do you not? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there are certain distractions that you want to remove. I mean, I've encouraged people to get dressed for church on Easter, that they would actually be there and be attentive. Our services now online are only about 50 minutes long. So we tell people that this is what they can expect. So try to you don't want this to be sort of background noise, especially for Easter. You want this to grab the attention of the people that in the room. So, but, if you have teenagers or kids, I mean, how attentive are they going to be, anyway, so they're in and out. So you got to show a lot of grace and patience along the way. But I think you do want to let's have a formal, dedicated time where we do church together as a family or as a person, so that turn your phones off, and focus your attention a bit.
And that's great advice. And, Father Victor, tell me what feedback you're getting. And one thing I will tell you that I found positive about yesterday evening's service was it is easier at home to just tell them to get off their phone and quit talking instead of having to figure out how to quietly and respectfully do that within the service. But Father Victor, what feedback have y'all received?
Well, a lot of positive feedback from my people. I think, we're not used to live streaming and all this, and I just got a YouTube channel. So a lot of the Christians are surprised, that they get to see the Mass up close, and they like that, and just the effort of trying to gather the people, and keep us together. I got a note saying, thank you for keeping us together just through these means. It's been pretty effective.
So So, Reverend Patrick, for people who feel like they can't get the real church experience apart, what would you tell them they should be thinking about to change that feeling?
Well, we all miss gathering together. We miss the hugs and the worship and the corporate time together. It's such an important part of our faith. Even though we share different traditions, and so that's real. And I think you have to talk about that. We miss being together, but the real purpose of the church is to be a people on mission, helping other people, and that hasn't changed in this COVID-19 virus thing. In fact, we have more opportunities now to be salt and light and help people in need. We have a shared crisis here, so we can all be very empathetic as to what we can do to help one another in this thing. So, the purpose of the church is to be on mission. So let's be on mission. We'll gather again together sometime. This is a season.
And Father Victor, are you seeing, and also Reverend Patrick too, one of the positives that I see that could come from this is that we're actually able to gather together in a way we don't normally do, in the sense that maybe family or friends that are around the country and around the world can be tuned into the same worship service, whereas in the physical, you can't accomplish that if you're spread around the country and the world. Are we seeing those opportunities now, Father Victor?
Yeah, I mean, my brother, for instance, in St. Louis, is able to join in and his whole family and see my service, my mass. So yeah, it definitely unites us, and it's a reminder of we're all joined together in the body of Christ throughout the whole world, praying to God during this difficult time.
So I guess it could make sense, Reverend Patrick, even if you think about this, to invite your friends and your family members, and let's not forget, some of the most important people out there. We talk about the folks on the front lines and healthcare and what have you, but our military service too. Those folks that are maybe serving around the country, we could invite them to these online services, and we can join together in doing that.
Yeah, what we have found is our people are more open to inviting people to experience church online than they would to invite them to actually come to church in person. So our audience has grown every single week, and we have people all over the world watching, and we get a lot of feedback from people. We have people that are tuning in that would never attend church, but the crisis has caused them to ask different life questions than they were asking before. And so they're looking for answers. They wouldn't claim to be a Christian or a follower of Jesus, but they're saying, well, maybe there's something here that could encourage me, or maybe this is the beginning of their faith in God. And so we see this as a great opportunity to connect with an audience and a group of people that normally just wouldn't show up at your doorstep because it's way too threatening. This, in the privacy of your own home, you can experience church and process it the way you want to. So it's a neat opportunity for us.
Well, it probably creates a better sharing opportunity too. If you think about it, you're a little more free. You want people to be respectful and attentive to the service. But within a family unit, it's a little more easy maybe to have a conversation. We did yesterday evening. One of the boys asked, well, what are they doing that for? Or the other one said, well, they're going to do this next. Not that we talked a lot. I want to be clear, Father Victor. But it does provide a little more of almost like a Bible study opportunity to a certain extent during the service. Father Victor, for Catholics, which I'm Catholic, part of the tangible part of the Mass is so important, the incense and smelling those incense and the holding of hands during Our Father and, the communion and those things. So how would you encourage folks over those kind of missing those opportunities as we gather apart?
I think that we've received these sacraments Sunday after Sunday, and by not having it, all of a sudden it kind of makes you value it and to realize, Christ has changed me. He has baptized me. I've been baptized. I've been receiving the Eucharist. He's with me. And so now it's like a call to really take ownership of our faith and really to bring the faith to my family, to pray together, and really to value the communion more in those things of gathering and receiving the Eucharist and longing for it more, that when it happens and we can all gather together, I think we'll be much more grateful for that gift. I think God's using this time, though, so we can take more ownership of our faith. I'm praying, and I have people that are joining on at daily masses, or people that haven't been to Mass, like Patrick said, are now watching online. So it's bringing people more together, you could say.
That's great. And so, Reverend Patrick, as we wind down, what words of encouragement would you give to people for this great Easter weekend and beyond?
Well, Easter is such a pivotal point of the Christian faith. It's a place of hope. And so my encouragement is don't waste this crisis. Allow this crisis to grow your faith in God. I mean, on Good Friday, as we talk today, we're reminded of the fact that Jesus died for our sins and was buried. And it's for that day in the first century, it was such a horrible day for those followers of Christ who thought one thing and now all of a sudden all hope was lost. But Sunday was coming and Easter appeared and hope resurfaced and a new way of living happened. And the Christian faith was born there at the resurrection. So, I'm telling people to, this is a difficult season and a lot of people have lost a lot of things. So I don't want to minimize that pain, but hope is coming. Easter is the story of the unpredictable. And Easter is the story of the miraculous. And so I'm telling people, even though their circumstances in this very moment might be difficult, what I'm saying to them is, don't let this discourage you because there's a miraculous moment coming, something that's unpredictable God is going to accomplish. And there's going to be some good come out of this where we all grow. So don't waste the season by just holding on and hoping to get through it. But look and see how we can, grow from it and help others through it. I've been telling people, don't Netflix your way through this series, through this crisis. But, take advantage of the opportunity to see how you can be reflective and see how you can grow in your faith because hope is coming.
Well, and this is supposed to be an ongoing spiritual journey. I mean, that's what your Christian faith is. It's a journey, and it's about every day seeking that spirituality. And this is a great growth opportunity for all of us. Father Victor, what would your kind of closing encouragement be?
Really, everything is exactly what I would say. And he probably gave me some ideas for my homily on Sunday. No, just that God will bring greater good out of this, that God is with us. When all seemed lost, when Christ looked like a failure going to the cross, Peter just denied him. Judas betrayed him. All the apostles fled, right? Except for Mary and John, of course. He looked like a failure, but he trusted in the Father and everything came together. And that's what's going to happen is greater good will come out of this, just like Patrick said.
Well, as we close, Reverend Patrick, please tell us how we can connect online with your services and those at your church that are choosing to for this weekend and moving forward.
Well, the easiest way to connect with us is go to our website. It's rpc.me. It's River Pointe Church, rpc.me. And there's a link at the top of that page to connect with our broadcast on Sunday. We start broadcasting at 8 a.m. We broadcast all day. Of course, you can catch us on Facebook as well. But and then after Sunday, we'll have the services available on our website and our YouTube page.
Great. Father Victor, how do we connect with y'all online and follow services?
Facebook.com/ST Joseph ST Stephen with a PH. And also I have my own YouTube channel now. It's Father Victor Perez, and that's being the masses are streamed to that YouTube channel as well.
That's something that's got to come out of this. I mean, there've got to be more Christian leaders with YouTube channels today than a month ago. And people are going to surf around and they're going to stumble into some of those, and we'll get some new followers, we hope, right?
That's right.
The modern evangelization. Yeah.
Well, thank y'all both so much on this Good Friday, taking time. I know how busy you both are. Thank y'all for that. And as we close, I just want to thank the folks for watching and seeing what we're doing to help everyone understand that we can worship together even though we're apart. As we celebrate Easter this weekend, let's remember the season is of new life. It's of resurrection, and it will be a resurrection of our state, our economy. We're going to remember that the horizon is brighter on the other side. Let's remain together as we are apart. We'll get through this together. Happy Easter. Remember social distancing. Remember stay home. Remember good hygiene, washing your hands. And most importantly, let's enjoy the time of Easter in the resurrection. And God bless Texas.